Well, the news came out yesterday afternoon that Governor J.B. Pritzker is going to be in the market for a new director for the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services after Marc Smith announced that he is going to resign. Some saying that this didn't happen soon enough.
This is long overdue. This administration repeatedly turns its back on fixing the problems, tries to sugarcoat them. Look at how many times the Auditor General's come in stating reports against DCFS.
Obviously, Charlie Meyer, state representative from down south Illinois, he has been speaking out against this for quite some time, and he's right about the audits. Recent audits showed the agency was not reporting alleged child abuse to the proper authorities in a timely fashion. You even have an audit that came from an Illinois Inspector General, that a 248-page report that showed more than nearly 50 more children died under supervision of DCFS in 2022 than in 2021. Now, Smith, he released a statement yesterday after it was announced that he was going to be transitioning out of the job. Smith released a statement which he said that he was, quote, proud of the profound progress at the troubled agency. But Smith isn't the only one that's on his way out. Within the Pritzker administration, several agency shakeups being announced by the governor. Let's go ahead and hear what the governor had to say here in his message. He said, Teresa Eagleson, director of the Department of Healthcare and Family Services, will step down at the end of 2023. The governor has appointed Lizzie Whitehorn, who currently serves as First Assistant Deputy Governor for Health and Human Services, to serve as Director of HFS beginning January 1st, pending confirmation by the Illinois Senate. You've got the governor also announcing the upcoming transitions. Also at the end of the calendar year, Paula Basta, director of the Illinois Department on Aging, and Marc Smith, director on the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services, will be leaving. Finally, the governor announced the appointment of Camille Lindsay as acting director of professional regulation at the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, pending confirmation. So clearly there's interesting movements happening, but word came out and reached out to a variety of different individuals. Had yet to hear back from the House Speaker's office, but the Senate President's office, Don Harmon's office, said that President Harmon thanks Marc Smith for his service and wishes him well. Republicans, they see Smith's planned departure as an opportunity to address a range of issues within the agency. State Senator Steve McClure and Sally Turner, they both released this statement saying protecting and caring for our state's most vulnerable children and families is an incredibly important responsibility of the governor's administration. As the recent compliance audit makes crystal clear, the issues with DCFS aren't getting better. The situation actually appears to be getting worse. We hope the governor takes this opportunity to finally fix the issues that plague DCFS and have led to heartbreaking stories of children waiting months for placements or those who tragically have lost their lives. So clearly, this is being interpreted in different ways. The governor merely saying, hey, there's transitions going on. But Republicans saying there's been gobs of problems with particularly the Child Welfare Agency that have gone unaddressed. Now, but let's read what Marc Smith had to say in his statements that was released as part of the governor's announcement of transitions. Smith said that, let me pull this up and find this quote, that the governor and his administration have been incredible partners. Smith said that together we've confronted the longstanding challenges at DCFS head on with both optimism and pragmatism so that we can help families and children thrive. He went on to say, I'm profoundly proud to have had the opportunity to lead and work alongside the amazing team of professionals at DCFS that have dedicated their lives to protecting and supporting our most vulnerable children. But again, State Representative Charlie Meyer saying that, the announcement of him set to resign at the end of the year couldn't come soon enough.
This is long overdue. This administration repeatedly turns its back on fixing the problems, tries to sugarcoat them. Look at how many times the Auditor General's come in stating reports against DCFS.
And Meyer went on to say that the big step forward is to start addressing a lot of these issues that have been highlighted time and again in audit after audit.
Find the right person to run these different agencies and run them. And the people underneath them, if they aren't working, fire them. Instead of, in the past in different agencies, they move people around. They don't fire them.
I hear that a lot from just rank and file employees of state government agencies. That there's a lot of shifting of certain people who, may be politically connected, going from one agency where they may not have done well to being put into another agency. Some state agencies feel like they're just a dumping ground for, what some characterize as political hacks being put into these agencies. And is that the best way to run taxpayer-funded government in an efficient manner? It's obviously a lot of implications and a lot of impacts from having poor management. And listen, I don't imagine DCFS is an easy job. There's no question. I mean, the investigators, they're put in very difficult situations. You've had several investigators killed, even one here locally. Not too long ago, if you recall. So it's a dangerous job. There's no question. But when you look at, the Inspector General reports on the number of children that were under supervision by DCFS having died, and even the ongoing criminal trial of two former DCFS employees in the Andrew Friend case, 5-year-old who was killed by his parents after DCFS let the child go back with the parents. And those two former employees ultimately being charged with not following the law. And we'll see just exactly where that trial ultimately lands. But a big shakeup within the Pritzker administration, with the big headline being DCFS Director Marc Smith going to be done by the end of the year. And is he really going to be at work until then, or is this going to be kind of the type of thing where they're taking months off before the end of the year? You can sound off on this at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News. I'd love to hear from you. We've got a few moments here if you want to sound off. Again, 217-629-7970. What's your interaction been like with DCFS? I've had other individuals reach out to me over the years. I've been covering state government, saying that they were unfairly targeted by the Child Welfare Agency. And in particular, contractors that DCFS pays to be at hospitals to possibly investigate allegations of child abuse at a hospital. There's one case where you've got the family of some children who showed up to the hospital because one of their children was having some problems, like a medical issue. They didn't know what was going on. Then some DCFS contractor came in and was like, "You're abusing your kids," and then set up this whole thing where the parents felt they had no rights or any kind of ability to defend themselves against these allegations, and children being removed from their custody for a duration of time. So, that's just an anecdote of one particular story, which I imagine are happening around the state as well. But again, DCFS getting a shakeup. Good morning. You're on WMAY. What's up?
Yeah, the governor's been under some pressure to do something about his team, and he just did it. So I think we have to wait a minute to see what happens here.
Yeah, and just DCFS you're talking about, or IDOA and Department of Professional Regulations and all the other agencies announced yesterday?
I'm looking at more holistic. That I think he did a big change within his agencies, and I think he's trying. We'll see what happens. It could be a wrong move. But I think you have to give the benefit of the doubt. He's doing what he's asked to do.
Yeah, and this is the first year of his second term. And Smith has been on since 2019 when he was appointed. He was approved, I believe, in 2021. Let me just double check my notes to make sure. He was approved by the Illinois Senate in 2021. He was reappointed earlier this year despite the continued audits being found of systemic problems. I think benefit of a doubt, sure. Is it too late, too sorry? Is that something that Republicans are ultimately saying? I guess we'll see how this ultimately plays out. Appreciate the call.
Sounds good.
217-629-7970. That's the phone number if you want to chime in. You can also email me, bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can message me on Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube. Just search out Bishop on Air. But the best way to do it is to call in live and local at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. Let me see here if we got some comments from the YouTube feed. We've got one comment says JB has time to clean house. Why? Because the history of leadership is terrible, so JB needs to shuffle the deck chairs while the ship is sinking, a commenter says. So interesting. Again, you can sound off. 217-629-7970.